to the German language distance learning program for beginners. This is a joint program conducted by the Indira Gandhi National Open University in collaboration with Max Müller Bhavan, the German Cultural Center in India. Herzlich willkommen zum Fernkurs Deutsch als Fremdsprache für Anfänger. Ein gemeinsames Programm zwischen der Indira Gandhi National Open University und dem Goethe-Institut Max Müller Bhavan, dem Deutschen Kulturzentrum in Indien.
You're listening to Radio D, the radio language course of Redaktion D. A joint project of the Goethe Institute and Deutsche Welle Radio. The author is Herat Mese.
And a warm welcome to episode 17 of your German language course on Radio D. Our reporters Paula and Philip have driven out early in the morning to a village to research a new story. When their colleague Ayhan gets to the office in the evening, they're still not back. Listen to the scene. What story are Paula and Philip after?
Hallo, guten Abend. Keine Antwort. Philipp? Paula? Eulalia? Ist denn niemand da?
Doch, ich bin da.
Ah, guten Abend, Kompu. Wo bleiben denn Paula und Philipp?
Mysteriöse Kreise.
Mysteriöse Kreise? Was heißt das?
Philipp und Paula recherchieren. Mysteriöse Kreise.
So Paula and Philip are investigating something mysterious. Mysterious circles, Kreise to be precise. Let's listen to the scene a little more analytically. Ayhan comes to the office in a good mood and offers a general greeting without knowing exactly who's in the room. Good evening, he says.
Hallo, guten Abend.
But there's no answer, or Antwort.
Keine Antwort.
Ayhan calls out his colleagues' names and discovers there's really no one else there.
Ist denn niemand da?
Well, Kompu the talking computer is, at least.
Doch, ich bin da.
Since Kompu is usually pretty well informed, Ayhan asks it where Philip and Paula are.
Wo bleiben denn Paula und Philipp?
He's worried because it's already quite late, but Kompu only repeats the assignment Philip and Paula are on.
Philipp und Paula recherchieren. Mysteriöse Kreise.
OK, well, if Kompu's not going to be any more specific, I will be. Imagine cornfields. Imagine that in the fields there are mysterious circles of flattened corn, and no one knows how they got there. There's a lot of speculation about it, though. For example, could they have been made by interstellar travellers landing with their flying saucers?
Achtung, Achtung, hier ist eine Reportage von Philipp und Paula.
Thanks, Kompu. The crop circles have made the village a tourist attraction. A lot of people drive there to see them. Philip and Paula are also there, and they're making some sound recordings just as a big touring coach arrives.
Hallo, liebe Hörerinnen und Hörer.
Willkommen
bei Radio D.
Radio D.
Die Reportage.
Imagine you're on the bus and listen to what's going on.
So, wir sind da. Bitte alle aussteigen.
Karl, komm, wir sind da. Aussteigen.
Ja, ich komme ja schon.
Ich möchte aussteigen. Schnell, ich will die Kreise sehen.
Wir auch. Immer mit der Ruhe.
Ruhe bitte. Alle wollen die Kreise sehen.
Aber sofort.
Keine Angst. Die haben keine Beine.
So, were you able to tune into that situation? The busload of inquisitive tourists has reached its destination at last. Just in case some of the travellers haven't noticed, the tour guide tells them we're there and asks them all to leave the bus.
So, wir sind da. Bitte alle aussteigen.
And that seems to trigger a mad rush. A woman is shoving and shouting that she wants to get out quickly, schnell, to see the circles.
Ich möchte aussteigen. Schnell, ich will die Kreise sehen.
Luckily, though, there are all sorts of people. Some are all hectic, while others radiate calm. A man calms the excited woman, saying, "Now, take it easy."
Immer mit der Ruhe.
And why rush, after all? As he points out, the circles haven't got legs to run away with.
Keine Angst. Die haben keine Beine.
When we've been at some big event, we want something to prove that we were there, especially to our friends. The farmers in the village know that too, of course, so smart as they are, they've had a brainwave. They've put up souvenir kiosks on the parking lot where the tourist coaches arrive, and that's another place where Philip and Paula have made recordings.
Radio D.
Die Reportage.
A farmer is selling toy flying saucers. What absurd promises does he make about the UFOs, UFOs?
UFOs! Wunderbare UFOs! Wer will fliegen? Wer will die Kreise sehen? Bitteschön, ganz einfach. Kaufen Sie ein UFO und fliegen Sie los. Na, gnädige Frau, Sie wollen doch sicher die Kreise sehen. Kaufen Sie ein UFO und fliegen Sie los.
So ein Unsinn. UFOs. Die gibt es nicht.
The souvenir seller is touting the UFOs as miracle workers. He says people should buy them, kaufen, and then just fly off in them.
Kaufen Sie ein UFO und fliegen Sie los.
Since the crop circles can only be seen well from the air, the seller lures the tourists with the question, who wants to fly? Who wants to see the circles?
Wer will fliegen? Wer will die Kreise sehen?
Oh, but come on now. I mean, who's going to believe that? Flying with a toy spaceship. But that's probably not the only reason why one man is so annoyed and calls out indignantly, "What nonsense! There's no such thing as UFOs."
So ein Unsinn. UFOs. Die gibt es nicht.
The man seems to be annoyed about speculation that alien spaceships could have made the circles in the cornfields. But we don't have to rack our brains about that anymore, because the professor's coming along now with some very down-to-earth explanations.
Und nun kommt unser Professor.
Radio D.
Gespräch über Sprache.
Hello, glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Professor, in this episode we've heard some wishes being expressed. For example, tourists wanting to see mysterious circles in cornfields.
Yes, there are different ways of stating a wish in German, and I want to deal with just one of them in this episode.
Okay.
In the next two statements, focus on the verbs, listeners. They end with en, and come in second place in the sentence.
Alle sehen die Kreise.
Alle wollen die Kreise sehen.
So the first statement contained one verb, to see, sehen.
Alle sehen die Kreise.
Quite so. The second statement had two verbs, to want, wollen, and to see, sehen.
Alle wollen die Kreise sehen.
And the verb wollen expresses that someone has the wish or the intention of doing something.
Quite right. The verb wollen is one of 6 modal auxiliary verbs, Modalverben, available in German. These verbs have 2 characteristics. Normally, there is in sentences with modal auxiliary verbs a second verb in the infinitive right at the end. In our example, it's the verb sehen.
Na, gnädige Frau, Sie wollen doch sicher die Kreise sehen.
Also, when modal auxiliary verbs are conjugated, the vowel changes. In the infinitive and in the plural, the verb is wollen. Please listen for the O vowel.
Wollen. Alle wollen die Kreise sehen.
If one person is speaking, in other words the singular case, the verb form is will. Please listen for the I vowel.
Will. Ich will die Kreise sehen.
Was will er denn? Was will er denn, der Mensch? Was will er denn? Was will er denn, der Mensch? Menschen wollen recherchieren, Menschen wollen informieren, Menschen wollen fliegen.
Well, Professor, thanks again for that discussion about language.
As always, a pleasure.
And now you listeners can hear the scenes again. Ayhan is wondering where Paula and Philip are.
Hallo, guten Abend. Keine Antwort. Philipp? Paula? Eulalia? Ist denn niemand da?
Doch, ich bin da.
Ah, guten Abend, Kompu. Wo bleiben denn Paula und Philipp?
Mysteriöse Kreise.
Mysteriöse Kreise? Was heißt das?
Philipp und Paula recherchieren. Mysteriöse Kreise.
Meanwhile, excited tourists are being bussed to the mysterious circles.
So, wir sind da. Bitte alle aussteigen.
Karl, komm, wir sind da. Aussteigen.
Ja, ich komme ja schon.
Ich möchte aussteigen. Schnell, ich will die Kreise sehen.
Wir auch. Immer mit der Ruhe.
Ruhe bitte. Alle wollen die Kreise sehen.
Aber sofort.
Keine Angst. Die haben keine Beine.
A clever farmer is selling toy spaceships.
UFOs! Wunderbare UFOs! Wer will fliegen? Wer will die Kreise sehen? Bitteschön, ganz einfach. Kaufen Sie ein UFO und fliegen Sie los. Na, gnädige Frau, Sie wollen doch sicher die Kreise sehen. Kaufen Sie ein UFO und fliegen Sie los.
So ein Unsinn. UFOs. Die gibt es nicht.
Next time we meet, Philip and Paula will keep looking for the causes of the mysterious circles.
Bis zum nächsten Mal, liebe Hörerinnen und Hörer.
You've been listening to Radio D, a German course of the Goethe Institute and Deutsche Welle Radio.
Besten Dank, dass Sie unseren Deutschkurs für Anfänger eingeschaltet haben. Detaillierte Informationen über den Kurs bekommen Sie im Studienzentrum, Regionalzentrum und im Max-Müller-Bhavan. Thank you for tuning in to our German language program for beginners. Detailed information regarding this program is available at your study center, regional center and at the Max Müller Bhavan.